you want to have maximum number of fish, minimum number of frogs, right? Inside the net, if there are more frogs, your precision is hit. Outside the net, if there are more fish, your recall is hit. Okay. In an ideal scenario, you have 100 fish, 0 frogs. 70 fish, 20 frogs and all are not a good scenario because your precision has taken a hit. You may say, hey, maybe I'll make my net smaller, and this leads to hallucination. You have retrieved a wrong document. Okay, this is what you have retrieved. Okay, you have put a net, just like your Malleshwaram setup. You have, in some sense, you have put a net around Malleshwaram, and then you're searching for jobs, and now you only get some I don't know, BPO kind of jobs or something, right? You don't get your tech job. Okay, so then that's not a good retrieval, right? You search for jobs in that area, you put that restriction, and 90% of the jobs are crappy jobs which you don't want to do, right? So that's bad precision that you have, right? So you are now deciding how big a net to make or how flexible you will want about traveling in Bangalore. Are you okay to move from Whitefield to Banshankari or Malleshwaram to Whitefield, Malleshwaram to Marathalli, wherever, right? How big are you willing to do? At the same time, are you making sure you are going to capture all the fish? Are you getting more frog, right? So this frog is wrongly retrieved data or document, which can lead to wrong answers, right? Imagine when Perplexity did it. Imagine it retrieved a document that was of the first test match, right? We are into the third test match when I asked the question, right? Imagine that it somehow got the first test match. Then what happens? That happens to be a frog, right? Even though there's a lot of similarity in terms of saying India, Australia, cricket match, all these words can get you the data of the first match. But the moment you say this week, automatically you're only talking about the third match, right? So automatically it has realized that if it has managed, if in the first passing of retrieval, if it has managed to get information of the first and second matches, it realizes it's a frog, right? Therefore, only among the fish it has to decide which is a really relevant one, and only use that to generate, right? So your precision recall, the intuition is the more the frogs, the worse the precision. The more the frogs inside the net, the worse the precision. The more the fish outside the net, the worse the recall, right? So handling precision and recall, and then relevancy and faithfulness of generation, right? So all of these together end up being computed in a RAG pipeline. Okay. Yeah, we do have something like a confusion. In fact, there's this whole Python library called Ragas, RAG3. Okay. For those who are interested, I believe there was. Yeah, I'll share the link. As I said, I'll share all the link in a proper notebook for you, right? We've been a little haphazard in terms of going all over the place, but that's how GenAI content today is. Okay, we are almost at time here. I hope all of you managed to learn something. As I said, the links will be shared. Some of you are asking a good roadmap. A very nice place to do this is Aman Chada's blog. Okay, and this was my main source of reference. In fact, his blog is where is one of my favorite ones in terms of acquiring knowledge on the latest things. There's also Lillian Weng's blog, but I didn't refer that for today's session. But this one primer by Aman Chada summarizes a lot of content. I would suggest you to go through it. There's a lot more detail than what we can cover here. Of course, we also did embedding also. This is on RAG. There's a lot more detail here. Someone was asking about RAG versus fine tuning. That's also covered here. Okay. I hope today's session gives you answer. There's a bit of code also explained here, right? So there is this splitting code and stuff. Okay. So I hope all of you get to learn this. And as I said, you can always ping me on LinkedIn. I think I shared my LinkedIn profile earlier. We'll be happy to have some conversation offline also. Okay. Okay, I'll take some questions. I'm going to the questions tab. Before I do the questions, we just want to know how your learning experience was, how frequently you want sessions like this and so on. So Apurva will launch a couple of polls, and this will give me some time to go through the questions also. So Apurva, can you launch some of the polls? Please encourage our sessions by giving an honest opinion. Tell us where we can improve and so on. Okay.
Hey guys, we'll be launching 4 polls for the feedback while Ajay is going through the questions in the questions tab. Please participate in the polls, and along with that, also upvote the questions which you feel are important for you. This is the first poll which is active on your screen, is about your overall experience in today's session. If you feel that this is the session which helped you and something which you liked about the session, you can just let us know. This is on a scale of 1 to 10. Please do participate here. I can see that not everybody is participating, not even 50% again. I would just request all of you, as I keep saying this repeatedly in all of my sessions, we rely on solely your feedback for us to understand whether these sessions are working out for you or not. Only if you like it, we will be conducting similar sessions, or else we'll not. So please participate in these polls and let us understand if that is the case. This is for the pace of teaching. Again, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the best. I can see that a lot of positive comments are coming in for Ajay. If that is the case, do let us know by participating in the poll. Your feedback would help help us a lot. Thank you so much. I hope you all loved the session. Also, please go to the questions tab and keep upvoting questions which you feel are relevant for you. Launching the third poll, which is for us to understand the engagement in today's session. If you found the session engaging, do let us know, again on a scale of 1 to 5. And after this is done, we'll be launching one final poll, which is for us to understand the content. So just please participate. I cannot stress on it enough how important feedback is for us. So I would request all of you to please do participate in these polls. Wow, Aftab saying 2 hours ago we were RAG and now we are from rags to riches. So that is great.
Rags to riches. Yeah, there is a course. Yeah, there's a whole course by a former Quadrant employee called Rags to Riches. I think
Launching
it's on
the final poll. I'm sure these people would love to understand that vlog as well. But before you guys do that, just please participate in this one final poll, which will help us understand if you liked the content. Like Ria, if you learned a lot, this is the final poll and the final time I'm asking you to participate in these polls. So please do that, and then we'll be handing over the session back to Ajay for picking up few questions.
Yeah, some of you are asking for the link. Let me put that in the notice board. Please go to the notice board. I think some content was whatever links I've been sharing. I think Kapura, you put some of them on the notice board, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So keep an eye on the notice at the top of the chat. There's this notice board, right? Keep an eye on that. I have shared Aman Jada's RAG blog. It's fairly comprehensive, fairly detailed, and it has also reviewed some of the look how big the blog is. I'm scrolling through it, right? It has fairly summarized some of the latest developments also for those who found this session very basic. There are many aspects of RAG which you can go through by reading some of these papers, right? So this is like this blog alone is like a good roadmap for you to understand RAG. Other thing is, if you're interested, there's a nice YouTube channel by Umar Jamil. Okay, so search that. He has one or two lectures on RAG, I think. Fairly decent. LinkedIn URL was not working. That's because I copied wrong. Okay. I ended up copying LinkedIn. So yeah, this is my LinkedIn URL. So uh, in case what I shared earlier was not working, just you can click now. Okay. Okay. I'll take a few questions. Do we need to know about LLM before knowing RAG? Well, the retrieval part is one thing, but for the generation part, you will have to know about LLMs, how much context length it can handle, and so on, right? So, Syed, I think that should fairly answer your question. Mukul, regarding sensitive content, adult content, and all, so there is this whole field of responsible AI. Okay, so good you asked that, right? So this whole field of responsible AI or ethical AI or something. There's fancy words for it, right? So I would suggest you read the research papers on archive, right? Read on archive the research papers pertaining to it, so that a lot of it is about debiasing and stuff, right? Unfortunately, when LLMs originally, uh, when people are originally exploring LLMs, they found some unfortunate biases of our own language. That, for example, when you say nurse, it automatically assumed female. When you say doctor, it would often tend to assume it's a male, right? So that kind of bias ended up coming into the uh, LLM, and there are these techniques to remove those biases. Okay, so I'd suggest you read about responsible and ethical AI to pursue that, right? It's because it's a very sensitive thing. You don't want to put something out there in production which suddenly it may abuse some category of people, right? It may do racial discrimination or something like that, right? So all that is possible based on the training data. In fact, when Google originally made a huge mistake of using Reddit shitpost for training. Okay, I mean, Reddit has a lot of nonsense along with some good content, right? So they ended up training using a lot of that, and when initially when they put it in production, very sad things have happened, right? There was one case where the LLM asked the person to commit suicide and stuff like that, right? So these are very sensitive things that will be a permanent area of research. Okay. Okay. Oh, Trump's image comes, is it? Okay, I wasn't aware. Such a max token error, you have to debug individually. Maybe the chunk size you're giving is higher. Maybe either chunk size is high, or there could be it's something you have to debug yourself, right? I mean, unless I see the code, I won't be able to help you here. Richa, there are HTML tags also. Okay, there are way to split HTML tags also. Okay. Sankalp, unfortunately, not too much into metadata. We are kind of running out of time. We wanted to do both embeddings and RAG, right? Dibendur, when to use RAG and fine tuning? Again, very good question. Very nice question, which luckily for us, Aman has given us a summary from some other source out there. So the idea is that if you have a lot of data, then fine tuning is good. But if you want quick references for answers, RAG is what you need. But there's this whole section here. I'm tired of scrolling. There's this whole section of comparisons of pros and cons of RAG versus fine tuning. I need to do RAG on this document. Okay. Right. So I suggest you to go through it, but I think he's given a fair summary, right? The remember that the model, one thing is the model behavior, right? Model behavior will be the same as the original model, whereas here you can completely change the default behavior of the model, right? That's possible. The style in which it talks, all those things. Okay. And then there are these disadvantages where RAG might have more latency because it has to retrieve document, whereas here it's already in your just imagine if you are, if you have read uh, if you have read Harry Potter hundreds of times, then you have fine-tuned yourself with that knowledge, and if I ask you a question, you'll quickly retrieve. Whereas if I give you those 7 books and ask you a question, and if you've never read that book, or or forgotten most of it, you have to search, right? So that leads to latency. So there are these pros and cons everywhere, right? And regarding hallucination, if again, there's a little tricky statement to say, as long as the retrieved document is fine, as long as the retrieval metrics are good, the precision, recall, and all that, then it's less prone to hallucination. Okay. Unfortunately, fine-tuned models may still exhibit hallucination because you've given it a lot of data. It's still possible, right? That it may not. There's this concept called needle in a haystack, right? That might happen. Okay. RAG versus AI agents. In fact, there's this whole concept called agentic RAG itself, where I think originally papers like React and all that, where to the LLM call, you first decide whether an information is there inside the LLM itself, or it requires knowledge of an external source, right? So there's this condition, and then there is something called corrective RAG, where the LLM is asked to update its own responses. Okay. So there are this is so Shubhadeep, I'm answering your question, right? So there's this whole concept called agentic RAG. In fact, a lot of 2025 will be around agentic RAG, I believe. Okay. Someone's asking about notes PDF. Yes, we have mentioned many times. Oh, that is an old question. Um, regarding speed of RAG, how to make it fast, quantization methods and stuff like that will work. Okay. Bhagya Lakshmi, we are kind of done with the course. We have a whole GenAI module for those who are students of Scalar, where things will be discussed in more detail. Okay. Remember, this is a short masterclass on introduction to RAG. Jai Priyadarshi. So there are some good GitHub repos. In fact, I wanted to allude to that, but kind of ran out of time. I'll give a link. Okay. It is both a YouTube. You can go to YouTube and search for LangChain RAG from scratch. Okay, this is a nice starting point. After this session, I hope after this session you should be able to grasp the hands-on stuff there. Okay, let me again put this in the chat. All right. Okay, I think we have far too many questions that we can cover in a sensible point of time. I hope you have, for those who have said yes in the callback poll, you'll get a better idea of whom to approach, how to approach people to ask more questions and so on. If you haven't had a chance to give a yes on that poll, feel free to do so now, because we'll be winding up the session now. And again, there are 68 more questions. I don't think we have a reasonable amount of time. It was a very nice session, very interactive. Instead of email address, NLB, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah. Riva, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ajay, for taking out your time and saving the session for us today. And
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
thanks to all the audience who were so receptive of you, and they really understand and loved you in the session. So kudos to everybody. We will be wrapping up the session now. I just have one feedback form that I want you guys to fill out. Thank you for you, being so interactive, so participative, super active in the session, and being interactive with the content overall. We have loved having you in the session today. If you find, if you feel that you like the session and you would like to be a part of something, other sessions as well, we have a Scalar events page. All of these events are completely free of cost. No money is charged, and of course, there is no limit as to how many events you can, really register for. So please do participate and register for as many events as possible. Please also check out Scalar Topics. This is another important resource which I cannot get enough of. A lot of learners swear by it. Lots of free as well as paid courses are here, and you can take lots of tests. There are lots of assessments, challenges, and of course, tools and courses are available as well. So please do check out Scalar Topics. We will be sharing all notes. We'll be collating it all together. We'll be sharing the links as well with you. Please make sure that you are a part of the WhatsApp community. If not, I'll just maybe reshare it once in the chats. Please join this. Oh, but okay, 1 second. I sent it to Ajay by mistake. Yeah. So please join the WhatsApp community. After the session is done, we'll be collating all of that and we'll be sharing it all together. Okay. I hope nobody has any more questions. In case you do, in case you have missed out on answering the poll, please give me a thumbs up, or else we'll be wrapping up the session now. Anyone wants me to relaunch it, or we can wrap up? Okay. Kiranjit is saying wrap up. One question. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'll just maybe relaunch it for 30 seconds and then we'll wrap it up. If you are all done, we can drop off from the session. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Recordings are not available, guys. We'll be sharing the notes on the WhatsApp community.